Congressman Devin Nunes is the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee and author of a new book, Countdown to Socialism. Congressman, welcome back. Good to have you.
Thank you, Shannon. Great to be with you this evening.
Okay, so about this new document where the subsource of the Steele Dossier either had no idea where some of the language attributed to him came from or expressly denied being the source of it. Jonathan Turley, a well-respected law professor, has testified many times on Capitol Hill and as part of the impeachment, said this: the question is why this document's received virtually no media attention. It is as best misleading by omission and at worst intentionally false. After using tanker loads of ink on the unfounded collusion theories, the media seems unwilling to use a drop of ink on the evidence of misconduct in pursuing that investigation. Your thoughts on that document tonight? You've been briefed as well.
Well, I would say this as it relates to the media is not interested in writing about this because the media was involved in it. The media received early copies of the dossier all throughout 2016. And remember, this dossier was a product of the Clinton campaign and the Democrats. As it relates to this source, this Russian source, we were led, the Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee, when I chaired it, we were led to believe that, in fact, this primary subsource was some type of Russian of some kind. Well, it ends up he was born in Russia, but he actually previously had worked at the Brookings Institute. The Brookings Institute is knee-deep. That, for those of your viewers who don't know, this is one of the leading left-wing think tanks there in Washington, D.C. So we were misled. And I'll just close with this part, Shannon. We've made 14 criminal referrals. We've asked for a 15th investigation. I've never gotten directly involved into the details of what's encompassed in those 14 referrals. But I will leave you with this, that I'm quite sure that our 14 referrals do cover the fact that we were not given this information and we were misled by many people within the FBI, and we've asked them to look into that.
Okay, so over on the Senate side, Senator Ron Johnson, leading the House Homeland Security Committee, has subpoenaed the FBI, asking them to produce all records related to the Crossfire Hurricane investigation, this investigation into the Trump campaign. The Washington Post published an opinion piece this weekend by Senator Blumenthal, Democrat, who says he doesn't think it's legit. He says Ron Johnson is moving ahead with an investigation into presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden's family, using documents provided to the senator by the son of a former KGB officer. There is no excuse for perpetuating Russian disinformation in the U.S. Senate. The FBI, by the way, says it's cooperating with the subpoena and with the Senate. But your thoughts on the reaction by Senator Blumenthal? Says this is just not legit.
Yeah, I have news for them. I mean, look, this is Mitch McConnell has been called a Russian agent by these Democrats. I mean, everybody's called Russian agents except for them. And remember, these are the guys that paid a foreigner to go get information from Russians. These are also the guys, the Democrats are the ones that actually sought out nude pictures of the president from Russians. So they have a long history in working with the Russians. So the irony that you would have another senator that you're going to call a Russian agent is preposterous. And I would just add this to that. We've long been looking at the Democrats' connections to Ukraine, especially as it relates to the dossier. They have a lot of background in Ukraine, a lot of operatives. If you may go back, they tried to impeach the president over this hoax. So the very comments that the senator was making in that op-ed against Ron Johnson, the House Republicans on the Intelligence Committee have been investigating not just the Ukrainians and the Russians involved in this, but also potentially whether or not the Democrats are involved in this. And so we've been looking at this. We're well aware of a lot of these documents. We have turned them over to the proper authorities, as we always do. So if I was Ron Johnson, I'd say, not just the documents, I'd subpoena Christopher Wray, because he needs to answer why he put up such a fight. Him and Rosenstein put up such a fight back in 17 and 18. You may remember when I put out the Nunes memo? It was Wray, who was there at the FBI at the time, who still has never called me to apologize to me for the words that he said publicly that really, by the way, have worked to influence the election against Republicans when you have the FBI saying things like the things that Wray said back in 2018.
Mm-hmm. We remember the memo well, and the fallout as well. Congressman Devin Nunes, ranking member on House Intel, thank you for being with us. Good to see you.
Always my pleasure. Thank you, Shannon.